Zimbabwe, the director of. I know that applause is for me, for John Lewis. I'm Sam Zimbabwe. I'm the director of the Seattle Department of Transportation, and we're so excited about this bridge, which will knit together a community historically divided by I-5 and provide a safe pathway for people heading to school, work, or any of the new connections that the Northgate Link light rail station makes possible throughout our region. It's my pleasure to kick off this naming ceremony for the bridge, and I hope that all of you have had a chance to visit the refreshment tent, which has some coffee, tea, and cupcakes, especially for the kids. The cupcakes are important. After this ceremony, please stay as long as you like. Explore the new bridge, take light rail down to the U District or to Roosevelt. There's community events all along the light rail today, and it's going to be a great day. I want to acknowledge all of our amazing speakers who came out today to celebrate this important milestone. I really want to thank also the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe, which was critical for a partnership with this bridge. There's still a lot of waterway restoration that's still to come as part of our commitments as part of this bridge too. Our partners at WSDOT, Sound Transit, North Seattle College, who have all been integral to this project. A huge thank you as part of that to Sound Transit. And we think of Sound Transit often as being the light rail, but really they're much more than that for this community. There's $10 million of Sound Transit voter approved resources in this bridge. That's part of all of the investments in the community that Sound Transit makes each and every day, including partnership in our Madison Rapid Ride G line, which broke ground a few days ago, really building out an interconnected transit network throughout the region. Special thanks to our state legislature and WSDOT, $10 million of state resources in this bridge as well. And WSDOT has been critical in technical assistance and partnership as we build this bridge over I-5. It was not an easy project to build. Thank you to Seattle voters for the levy to move Seattle. This is possible because of your investment in the future of the transportation infrastructure of the city. And thank you to North Seattle College for letting us build this project on the campus, connect to the campus, hosting us here today. Dr. Crawford and I were just talking about the return to school was this week. The timing of this really couldn't be more perfect in terms of making this campus accessible to everyone throughout the region. Council members and community organizations who worked hard to make this possible. It's an honor to be here with you today. And throughout the design, this project benefited from the involvement of nearby residents of North Seattle College and bicycle and pedestrian advocates around the region. Finally, a special thanks to the project team, the SDOT team, the Kramer team that built the bridge. There have been tireless work to build this bridge. It was going on late into last night to make sure we were ready to open this bridge today along with the light rail stations. I'm incredibly proud to be here representing all of your partners as well. This bridge is part of our larger effort to improve accessibility on both sides of the freeway. It's going to connect to our network of Stay Healthy Streets, to our neighborhood greenways, to connect into the neighborhoods, provide safe, accessible routes from Crown Hill, Greenwood, Finney Ridge, Licton Springs, and Northgate, all to the light rail station. And it offers a healthy and active way to get to light rail, to the new Kraken facility just across the freeway. This is part of our commitment to safety, to the environment, to accessibility. With this completion of this project, this doesn't end our commitment to these neighborhoods and these communities as well. We're working on extending the network of bicycle and pedestrian trails on both sides of the bridge and making this easier to access. With that, I would like to turn it over to Mayor Jenny Durkan, whose leadership is crucial to get us to this point today.
Thank you, Sam. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is such a great day. I look at this crowd and I see so many members of this community who work so hard. You're going to hear from great people like Larry Gossett. Larry, I've got to thank you for everything you've done for generations here in Seattle. Yay! And I see my friend Phyllis right here. Phyllis, you are an icon. You have done so much. We're here today to cut the ribbon on this bridge, and I also have to thank Councilmember Juarez, who really championed naming this bridge for John Lewis. But I was really fortunate when I was U.S. Attorney. I was able to meet Congressman John Lewis, and he came to a breakfast for us, and I've met many people over my years, and many people don't live up to their reputation. He's so far exceeded it. He mesmerized the room, and he was still so inspiring. And so naming this bridge for him is important because he and others risked their lives to cross a bridge to build equity and opportunity for others. Time and time again, put their own bodies, their own lives at risk. And this bridge, as you'll hear from the speakers today, represents in Seattle what we can do. What we can do to open a bridge to opportunity and equity for everyone. We had thousands take to the street last year to demand a more equitable city. And this bridge is a reminder that we can do that. We're here at North Seattle College, and you will hear from Dr. Crawford, who is amazing. But in Seattle, every Seattle public school student gets a free Orca card. And they do that because voters said it's important. And they can take that free Orca card on the light rail to come to North College with their 2 years free college because every Seattle public school student gets 2 years free college. And we have committed with Sound Transit, with the state, with the county, with city resources to build more affordable housing right at Northgate so people can afford to live in this city. And this project was built by the men and women who have unions, who have good family wage jobs, who are committed to equity. So all of this comes together to show that if we do this in places throughout our city, we really can have that region that builds opportunity for everyone, that sets how we can close disparities, that recognizes the racial inequities and systemic issues that have plagued our city and our country. And we have the power, the will, and the ability to overcome it, and it's a joyous day. So thank you, everyone, for being here. You'll now hear from the head of Sound Transit Peter Rogoff.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Sound Transit was greatly honored to have the opportunity to invest in this bridge because it truly is a bridge from affordable light rail to opportunity here at the college and this entire community that needs access to that facility that they have paid for several years. I have to agree with Mayor Durkan. I had the great privilege of having a number of meetings with then Congressman John Lewis about funding infrastructure improvements in metropolitan Atlanta. And he was all about equity and he was all about opportunity. He would be honored, I'm sure, to have his name on this bridge because he was all about creating those opportunities. The mayor's right. He exceeds all your expectations. He's a presence in a room that it was magnetic. It really was. And it was magnetic even for people who didn't fully know his story. He was that kind of individual. We are doing investments like these, not just here, but throughout our region, in order to make sure that our expanding light rail network provides opportunity for everybody. We will be more than tripling the size of the light rail network in just the next 3 years. Yeah. So this will be our northern terminus, but not for very long, because in 3 years we will be all the way up to Linwood. We will be all the way down to Federal Way. We will be all the way out to Mercer Island, Bellevue, and Redmond. Wow. And as Debora Juarez is whispering in my ear, there will also be a new stop at 130th Street. Through all of her efforts. This will be an opportunity for a great many people who will just have access to cheap, affordable, climate-friendly transportation. They will also get to see the trains whizzing by as they sit in I-5, sometimes at a dead stop. That is sometimes our best advertising we will ever have to get people on the way. So thank you for the opportunity. Let Sound Transit be part of this. Let's all remember the legacy of John Lewis as we cross this bridge. I'm now going to introduce Councilmember Debora Juarez, who delivered not only so much of this bridge and the name of this bridge, but as a member of the Sound Transit Board has delivered so many great expansions of opportunity here in District 5. Thank you.
Thank you. There are a lot of people today, but my comments will be a bit short, but unlike last night, I'm prepared and I will not drop any F-bombs. So we got that going for us. My name is Debora Juarez, and I sit on Seattle City Council, and I represent the great D5. And my Blackfeet name is Natui Misdiaki, which means Holy Mountain Woman. We want to start with that moment about who we are as Indigenous people and places. I want to end where we started a few years ago about what I shared throughout, what I have shared throughout my personal and professional life, and what I was taught by a revered elder that taught me, Blackfeet elder Gerry. He was a mentor, a linguist, he's a speaker and a teacher of the Blackfeet language. And a lot of what he shared with me isn't going to translate well, but the things that stuck with me are pertinent today, and some of you heard this. I know the mayor has heard this, and I appreciate that her and I've had discussions about this. Language is culture, and culture is behavior. Change the language, you change the culture. We are here today to change the language. That is to recognize and make a visible place, a sacred space, for a great leader that should not only be remembered by name, but spoken in word and thought to change our culture and our behavior. We gather here today to change the culture of who decides what is history, what and whom should be remembered, taught, who writes that history, who our heroes are, who remains visible. This is the John Lewis Bridge. This is his bridge. So when other people and young people walk across that bridge, they will know who John Lewis is. Just like we learned who Medgar Evers was in the Central District. And we need that in the North End. So today is that day. You're all part of a wonderful history and that step forward. John Lewis is our culture. We want to remember and honor Representative John Lewis so we too can do good trouble. Because we know John Lewis taught us good trouble, and good trouble is a good thing. And we want more of that in our hearts, in our minds, in our lives, in our city. Every day on this bridge and beyond. And lately we need more of that. I would like to share a statement. This is from Linda Early Chastain, the CEO of the John and Lillian Miles Lewis Foundation. They sent us a letter, and I quote, Congressman Lewis would be honored and more than thrilled to know that this bridge bears his name. The bridge represents and facilitates so much of what he cared about, connecting communities and people, providing a pathway to higher education, encouraging walking, biking, and the use of light rail, reducing our carbon footprint, and making our communities healthier and safer for this and future generations. On his behalf, we say thank you, Seattle. I'm going to end on my last note. The John Lewis Bridge isn't just brick and mortar. It isn't just a bridge or a man. It's a portal. It's a grand entrance with the door wide open and the welcome mat out to education, North Seattle College, healthcare, University of Washington, Northwest Hospital, Seattle Indian Health Board, and soon Virginia Mason. Housing, as you heard the mayor share, and Mr. Rogoff, more affordable, low income, and North Seattle College, and soon to be a Longhouse by Chief Seattle Club. Employment, we're looking at well over 2,200 new jobs coming online. We are looking at, with the entertainment, with the Kraken Community Iceplex, we are anticipating at least 800,000 people will cycle through Northgate alone. Hotels, housing, mixed use, we are going to have a reimagined mall. And transportation, the Northgate Light Rail, which I understand is about 50,000 people, with about 15,000 people boarding at Northgate. Finally, we are connecting the east and the west and the north and the south. So I said it before, D5 is cracking. In short, this is a portal to opportunity, to access, to mobility, and the good stuff. And with that, it is my honor to introduce my dear friend, the artist, the activist, and the voice of Seattle, Ms. Sharon Williams.
I am not officially the voice of Seattle.
Yeah.
But maybe one day, dreams. I have the honor and the privilege to be here tonight. And today, I just want to let y'all know I had 3 hours of sleep because I was trying to prepare for y'all last night. After there was this cracking game that happened that we won. Yeah. So this piece is called "In His Own Words." I hear the footsteps of my ancestors. I hear the footsteps of young people. I hear the footsteps of the elderly. I hear the footsteps of people that don't look like me. I hear the footsteps of my people. I hear footsteps. I'm going to walk this road to glory, my Lord, and I. Wake up, America. This is not time to be satisfied. This is not time to sit down. This is not time to lay your burden down in hopes that someone else will pick it up. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. I hear the footsteps of moral obligations. I hear the footsteps of the unspoken truths. I hear the footsteps of our current reality. I hear the footsteps of the misjustice of the past and present. I hear the footsteps of the future. I'm going to walk this road to glory, my Lord, and I. Back and forth, again and again, crossing from one side to another, going from this end to that end. I hear footsteps of determination. I hear footsteps of organizing. I hear footsteps of discipline. I hear footsteps of education. I hear footsteps of cultural exchange. I hear footsteps of belonging. I hear footsteps of peace, love, and the power to believe. I hear footsteps uplifting humanity. I hear footsteps of what could be, what should be, what ought to be, and what must be. I hear footsteps. Wake up, America. Wake up. Sacrifices have been made, blood has been shed, tears have fallen, lives have been lost, lessons have been learned, journeys have been purposeful. Paths have been made, steps have been ordered. Wake up, America. America, wake up. Take your turn. Make your path. Find your purpose. Feed your passion. I hear footsteps of you, and you. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching down the freedom land. Thank you, Doctor. There's still work to be done. I will have the honor and the privilege to introducing to you Dr. Chemene Crawford, the president of this wonderful North Seattle College.
Yeah. Good morning, visitors. This is Gerry. I'm Dr. Chemene Crawford, North Seattle College president and also a community member. This is a day that has clearly been a long time in the making. Thanks to all of the North Seattle College leaders who over the years laid the foundation for this amazing collaboration, which will transform this community. North Seattle College desires to be a good community partner with North Seattle. The John Lewis Memorial Bridge will help to foster old and new relationships and will provide greater access to our community, to more of our surrounding community, and increase access to the college. With the completion of the John Lewis pedestrian and bicycle bridge and the light rail, thousands of North Seattle College students will have an easier commute and improved access to begin to continue their education. We also hope that this will reduce the work for employees and
North Seattle College is part of the Seattle College. The light rail now connects North Seattle College to Seattle Central College and to local high schools, making it easier for students to access the classes they need. It will provide easy access for Seattle Public graduates and participate in the Seattle Promise. And this also means easier access for Seattle Public High School students to take advantage of the Running Start program. Every one of us has a John Lewis story, whether it's not. Just a few years ago, I had the opportunity to meet with John Lewis during a national conference in Washington, D.C. while serving as a member of the Student Council of the American Association of Colleges. Back in those days, our council annually sponsored a very elaborate display in the convention center area to educate conference attendees about equity, diversity, and inclusion. And it was particularly targeted toward educators. Being in our nation's capital, we took a chance and reached out to Representative Lewis's staff to see if he could simply stop by our booth to do a meet and greet, and our booth was pretty popular for this particular conference. Not only did he say yes, but he agreed to stay and sign copies of his latest book. Well, it turned out that Representative Lewis survived, but his book did not. We became very concerned that Representative Lewis would simply show up and leave once he found out that his book did not arrive. Fortunately, he did not. He actually stayed with us for a few hours, shaking hands, discussing public policy, and taking photos. And we all know that there are many public figures that have made an exit shortly after finding out that their books and merchandise hadn't arrived. But Representative Lewis did not. He was very gracious and very generous. He continually thanked us as educators for staying the course, reminding us that as educators, we are indeed causing good trouble. I was inspired and encouraged. The legacy that John Lewis has left in the entire country on service, not just to or for Black people, but for justice for all people. The voting rights and justice that he and Dr. King and others walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge to defend after 1965 continue to be dictated and are in jeopardy today in the 21st century. We must never forget and never stop crossing to ensure equity and justice for all. Current and future generations must know this American's name and how he helped to ignite a fire by crossing a bridge. I'm hoping that this bridge be a bridge that leads anyone who is willing to their own vision of positive change in their lives by seeking out a better life through higher education. For those heading east on the bridge, I hope that they're heading for the light rail to hop on and get to that job or that place that helps them live their best life. I am optimistic that this bridge will be a bridge of hope for those who cross it, and that it will one day even. I want the youth to know the names of people like me and other BIPOC people who have worked tirelessly to make this country safe for all of us. You know, I grew up in the 60s, and the actions of John Lewis and others within the movement shaped my worldview and possibly influenced my decision to become an educator. There are so many across the Edmund Pettus Bridge that day back in 1965 who had an impact on the generation. However, no one described the experience better than Representative John Lewis while encouraging us to, for the right reason, get into good trouble. Welcome to North Seattle College, and we hope to see you again. Here, I'd like to introduce Mary Gossett, former councilman of King County.
I began by asking Madam President, can I hug you? I want to begin with a learn this book. Also, I was going to start my speech by talking about the intersectionality between light rail and North Seattle. But I had to take a moment to think about that, because I was watching, maybe perhaps like you, CNN News last night, where I learned that the state legislature and legislators from that other state in our union starts with W. Yes, I'm speaking about Wisconsin. Voted on Thursday to make it illegal in the future for any teacher at university, college, or K-12 school systems in that state to use the word intersection. Illegal. Because it's fairly frequent, according to the Republican legislator that made this recommendation, said that people are using that word. We got to stop. There are two other words in the document. Those of you who like to fact check speaker, this is in the document they passed on Thursday. The two other words. The other two words are, it will be illegal in Wisconsin for any teacher to talk about multicultural. Yeah, illegal. Right. And then the third word is equity. And talking about race, it will be illegal and teachers fired. And this is all part of the anti-critical race theory efforts on around. And if John Lewis was here, he would say that ain't nobody gonna stop us from using those. Nobody gonna turn us around. That's what John Lewis said. Like the president, like Bill Johnson already, like many of you later, I first met John at a national anti-Vietnam march in New York City in '66. We're having an argument about whether or not I'm the oldest person here. But your King County representative, Kenny Cole Wells, came over real quick. I'm over you, brother. And I'm really happy to be Cole Wells, your representative. The Martin Luther King Jr. Council. I guess if we were like Wisconsin, they might make it difficult for us here in this region to even articulate the name of our new namesake, Martin Luther King Jr. That this is a man. That representative also said everybody knows that this is legislation in Wisconsin. So everybody knows that race doesn't matter. We can't have the BLM and CRT people making us think that race exists or matters. But I do appreciate the intersectionality between these two communities where it's going to be, it took us only 6 or 7 minutes to walk across that bridge, and probably for some of the students here. When I was 18, I could have done it. But if I read where it takes now 25 minutes to get over to Northgate, and with this bridge, reduce it to 5. That's a beautiful example for all the people in our community. And in closing, it reflects the kind of leadership that we have in the greater Seattle area. I appreciate that. John Lewis did, he appreciated it. John Lewis and I, born in the second day, February 21st, back to except that he's 5 years older than I, born in 45. But the political leaders here have a lot of great conversations. For us to I'll have to thank the song, Sharon, about like, we aren't going to allow it around. There's still a lot of in Seattle. If we're to have, y'all gonna be telling no Wisconsin legislative body this. And we still have to work for racial equity in our great community. We've made a lot of progress. Still have a lot to go. So let's celebrate like the namesake of this great bridge. And that's why I'm so happy that Debora Juarez recommended him. And then some people call me and say, well, he's not from Seattle. I said, look, man, George Washington, the person was named, never got the bridge. 2,900 up around. When I made that statement, somebody had took me on forward. Was from Seattle. So, but at any rate, I'm really proud to have the opportunity to Debora Juarez, City Council member in District 5, invited me. I'm really proud to share the platform with great speakers. Really extraordinarily happy all of decided to get up on this end. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next we have Representative Gerry Pollet.
This is a people's bridge, truly a people's bridge. You've got elected people up here, you've got people who lead agencies who made it possible, all their strengths to work together. But more than 12 years ago, I remember being in public meetings, sitting over at the elementary school, the gym, overflowing with people from this community saying, build a bridge, unite East and West. We had incredible leadership from North Seattle College President Marcus Suey and President Brown, who preceded Dr. Crawford. Let's look to them. They had a vision and they had to fight like one for it because they said, we're building light rail, but the students at Roosevelt High School who want to take running start, unless they can afford a car, they can't get to their classes. But imagine if they could just look across the street at Roosevelt High School, get on light rail, 3 minutes later, walk off. Larry, you're right. It takes them only 2 minutes to walk across the bridge. And I hope that they'll be singing those songs and learning them. Thank you so much for the beautiful poetry and sounds and reminders today, Sharon. That's the type of thing we need to have as interpretive signage and sounds on this bridge. My seatmates, Senator Clarke and Javier Valdez, and who worked tirelessly on this bridge, along with former Representative Jesse Farrell, Councilmember Strauss, and Councilmember Juarez. We've been talking about how do you do more than name a bridge? How do you make sure that you have that sound that we just had Sharon reminding us of? Ain't nobody stop us. One of those footsteps that you hear, not just the footsteps of history, but footsteps of opportunity coming across this bridge. It was your fighting for it that made this possible. And it had to overcome a lot of obstacles to say we could unite and take 30 minutes off of the commute for a student. But what about in terms of an opportunity pitch? The opportunity center that we've placed here, the job center, the social services, the child protective services, the family services, at the opportunity center, telling the mother who's got 2 little toddlers coming to work source to take 30 extra minutes to walk around or to wait take another bus instead of just coming across this bridge. That's equity. And we had to fight for it. And we did fight for it. You all fought for this bridge. It didn't happen because of us. It happened because of the nonprofit advocates, organizations, the community groups, and those of you who went to the year after year and said, let's do it. Thank you to you. Thank you. And so we'll be working to make sure that we don't just have a sign saying, John, this bridge, someone says, let's have a bridge that says, shall not be moved. Let's have a bridge that tells us the history of people said here in this, like my predecessor legislature, Chemene. Let's hear it for us. He was a groundbreaker. We should learn about the groundbreakers of this community when we cross that bridge and inspire the next generation to cross the bridge every day to opportunity. Let's inspire them, and you be inspired every day you cross it. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce coming up next, Secretary of Transportation, a terrific partner in this. I have to say, because of years of on a different bridge, everything I know about underlighting on the rails structure, I learned from you. And that's one of the beautiful things about this bridge is the underlighting on the rails. But there's so many things that woven together. At one point, the community had to, I say this, but you tries to say, wait a minute, State Department of Transportation, you're not allowing the utilities to go on the west side of the freeway because you're reserving it for expanding future lanes of traffic. Are you kidding? We're building a light rail station. That's our future lanes of traffic. And Roger Millar said, yeah. And we're able to do it. So with that, introducing the State Department Secretary of Transportation, Roger Millar. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. High five behind us where there's always lots of parking. This happened because of our bridge, this connection happened because of our partnerships with the city, Sound Transit, Sound Regional Council, Pollet, everybody involved. But it happened because advocates insisted that it. That's why things happen. That's why shit happens. Interstate was built because advocates insisted that it was built. And it's done some good things for the state of Florida. It's also created tremendous barriers in communities around the state. Our highways, our highways over economy, our highways create access to opportunity. They also create barriers. And there's challenges. We're looking at everything through climate change lens and equity. And we're making changes. Those changes take time. Like to say, Secretary of Transportation, there are two things I do not write laws and not appropriate money. So when we're doing a project that's on DOT, it's because been directed to us by who elects directors. That's their role. It's entirely appropriate. You continue to tell them what you want, and we'll continue to create connectors like this one around the state of Washington. We've been taking advocates and making them a part of the bring them inside. I was an advocate for Smart America before I became the deputy secretary and secretary of transportation. We just created, the thing I did 5 years ago, create an active transportation division within the department. And the leader of that active transportation came from the advocacy community. Sam thinks I've stolen, but I think we really let the city borrow Don Gachin for a while from WSDOT. And he is back at the DOT, where I took the state traffic engineer position, hired that title. He's the state transportation operations engineer. He's going to take what he learned here in this community and apply it throughout the state of Washington. So, thank you for the example. We're working together with SDOT to lower speed limits on our highways in the city. We're investing in planning with the support of the legislature to make Highway 99 a safer highway in the city. It's a state highway. It's also Main Street. And we have so many state highways that are main streets around our state. We spend as an agency about $4 billion a year of your money on transportation. It's not there as an end unto itself. It's there as a means to an end of economic prosperity, of enhanced quality of life, protecting the environment, and providing access to opportunity. So as we spend those dollars, as we're directed to spend those dollars, talk to your elected officials about what you want. Our active transportation plan we recently adopted identified $5 billion of gaps, like the gap we filled with this bridge around this state. $5 billion that we should be spending on making it safer for people to walk and to move around this great state of ours. 40% of the trips people take are less than 5 miles in length. 28% of the trips people take are less than a mile in length. But most people get in the car to take those trips. And the reason they do it is because it's faster and cheaper and safer than alternative. We can make walking and bowling faster and cheaper and safer. People will do it. So we need to do that. So keep advocating, pushing. You know what the right thing is. Keep directing us to do the right thing and get that work done. Speaking of advocates, I'd like to present Rick Lambert, who is the grant maker, executive director of Cascade. Thank you. I'm proud to be here to speak on behalf of the community and advocates who help make this happen. As you've heard, there are many hands that help build this bridge, Bridge Valley. It was not always forgotten. Cascade was happy to work in coalition with many community voices, including First, Sierra Club, Cliftonville, Pollet, and Nicholas Free Health. We always knew this bridge was the right idea. A huge reason this bridge exists because people spoke up, organized, and something more. As John Lewis might say, this bridge is the result. It's a 51st democracy, and all Seattle residents with the ability to travel without a car expanded. So we'll have a simple, safe, connected transportation system. With that, I'd like to invite us all to head over for an official ribbon cutting. And Mark.
Speakers are going to move really quickly to the end of the bridge. We'll do a quick ribbon cutting and then it's open for everybody.
Excellent. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Take care. Hello.
This is Tony D. We are live at the John Lewis Memorial Bridge, and a number of community members are going to be crossing this bridge symbolically. There are questions that I do have in regards to this bridge, meaning much more to our communities than just access, an opportunity to roll, walk, or bike. It is the terrorism that took place on this bridge that is the reason why communities of color, and in particular Black communities, see this bridge as significant. What is the impact that this bridge will have on this community and the educational institutions? Will there be a deepening of understanding of the oppression and injustice that has taken place in this country through our educational system that threatens white supremacists and causes discomfort to communities just like this, to their white fragility? There wasn't an opportunity to have a Q&A, so they'll just get someone to talk about that later. So they'll have the ribbon cutting ceremony. Tony B, you're live on Rainier Avenue. Dedication to John Lewis. All right, well, at this particular moment, this is a glorious occasion, and we will see what ultimately happens with this bridge in regard to the actual historical relevance, legacy of John Lewis. It's Tony B for Rainier Avenue Radio World, joining us for this breaking news dedication John Memorial Bridge, and will now have you size crowd here. We'll return you to our regularly scheduled